Hey girlies, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a get ready with me makeup video. It's been a while since I've done this, since my last one. So we're just going to have a bit of a chit chat and talking about Honkai Star Rail. I'm not going to have a script or anything, I'm just going to like talk, so this video might be a little bit messy in terms of what I like say and like the ordering of things, but let's just go and see how it goes. I'm just going to start off my makeup using the Maybelline Superstay Concealer, and I'm just going to put that on my dark circles. So I'm just gonna let the concealer dry a bit so it has a little bit more coverage than normal. So for those that don't know, Honkai Star Rail is the next miHoYo game that's coming out. So miHoYoverse is the company that owns Genshin or made Genshin Impact, which I'm sure a lot of you girls know of. So I'm actually really excited for Honkai Star Rail. I just want something like new in my life, like a new game. And it is a turn-based game, and I always have loved turn-based games, so I'm like really excited for that. I will say the turn-based in Honkai Star Rail is a lot more on the simpler side. It's nothing like Final Fantasy X. Like that's what I first played on the PlayStation 2, like Final Fantasy X, and I grew up on a lot of turn-based games, like these turn-based JRPGs. And Honkai Star Rail is a lot more on the simpler side. Like if anyone ever like asks me what Honkai Star Rail is and I really want to give them like a very short summary or like a short comparison, I always say that Honkai Star Rail is giving Genshin Impact plus Raid Shadow Legends mixed together. So Honkai Star Rail is going to be a gacha game, and it's very anime-like, and it takes in a lot of the stuff that Genshin has, because obviously Genshin Impact works, so why fix the wheel when it's not broken? miHoYoverse knows that like what Genshin does is really good and it's working, so why not just put it in Honkai Star Rail? Honkai Star Rail is kind of like Raid Shadow Legends because the turn-based system is pretty simple. You have like one ability, one ultimate, auto attacks, and like a few other mechanics in the game. So yeah, it's kind of like Raid Shadow Legends where the turn-based is quite simple. I would say probably the complexity comes from like team building and all. So we'll just have to see if the gacha game or the Honkai Star Rail like, gacha system is going to be quite generous, because from what I've heard, it's not that generous. From what I've heard, like there is like the 300 pity system where you can like choose whatever character you want out of the selection. But I don't know, I've heard that the pity system might not be as good as Genshin, so I don't know, we'll see about that. Hopefully we get the characters that we want. I'm just gonna blend in the concealer because I kind of let it dry a bit too much, I think. It's okay, I think we can save this still. It's workable. For my next step, I'm going to go with foundation, and I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. This foundation is highly rated. A lot of people quite like this foundation. The only thing I don't like, or two things I don't like, is that the application is you kind of have to just like pour it out, the foundation, so I don't like that. And this foundation oxidizes quite a lot. I would say this foundation oxidizes like 5 shades down, so just be ready for that. You probably want to go like 3 to 4 shades lighter than your skin tone, because yeah, this does oxidize really badly. So for Honkai Star Rail, although I'm very excited for it and I really want to play Honkai, which comes out on April 26th, I believe, there are some things that I'm quite concerned with, and that is mostly the endgame. I might be mistaken with Diablo 4, but I thought that the endgame for Honkai Star Rail is going to be infinite. So in Genshin Impact, we have the Spiral Abyss, and Honkai Star Rail will have something very similar to that. I thought it was an infinite thing, like you just keep on going, but I might be mistaken for Diablo 4, because there were 2 content creators that I watched on Honkai Star Rail, like 2 videos. I think they were Braxophone and Sevi Plays. Some of you guys might recognize those names. And what they said in both their videos was that the endgame in Honkai Star Rail is not that impressive, and that it might be a little short. So that was something I was really worried about. I'm really hoping that the late game for Honkai Star Rail is not gonna be the same as Genshin, because I think it's quite safe to say that Genshin Impact late game is not the greatest. Like Genshin has a lot of things that is doing well for it, like a lot of things they do correctly and do lovely, but I think it's safe to say that Genshin late game is a little lackluster. So I'm just gonna powder my face now. I'm using the Rimmel London Stay Matte Powder, which is really good for like oily skin like this, really gets rid of like the oils and lasts. And the Maybelline Fit Me for the rest of the face. So on my, like when I stream for long periods of time, or just like when I'm out and about, I get like pretty oily on my forehead, and I hate the shine that I get like after like 6 hours into my stream or whatever. So this rim will stay matte. Powder actually gets rid of it and like keeps you staying matte for a long period of time. So I like this, and I've tried a few powders. Like this one, a lot of people like the Maybelline Fit Me, but it doesn't really help control your oils at all. It gives you like a nice filtered look, but it to me it doesn't really do much for oils. So use this if you're an oily girl. So for the late game of Honkai Star Rail, like I said, it's gonna be very similar to like the Spiral Abyss, where you're gonna have like levels that just get harder and harder. But the thing is, instead of like the combat in Genshin, it is a turn-based game, Honkai Star Rail, and so the way you progress is by defeating an opponent or the level in a certain amount of turns. And I guess that makes sense for a turn-based game. I'm not really too sure if this is like a standard thing that is across all like turn-based gacha systems or gacha games, but yeah, it's very interesting that it's like you must kill whatever in 12 turns or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna be right back because I am getting hot and I think I chose the wrong top because I didn't realize it was gonna get so hot today, so I'm gonna switch my top and be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is much better. So for the progression in Honkai Star Rail, it's gonna be very similar to Genshin Impact in terms of like you gotta farm up materials to upgrade your stuff, and it's gonna be quite repetitive. Now, I don't mind grinding. I came from games like MapleStory and all that. Like, I really don't mind grinding. In fact, I quite like grinding. The only problem I have with like Genshin Impact when it comes to like the grinding for materials is that you're not guaranteed to get what you want, right? You could run a domain 100 times and you might not get the artifacts that you need. Obviously, because the artifacts you get and the equipment or whatever is like RNG, you're not gonna get everything you want, and you know, maybe it's fine that like you don't get the perfect gear, but I wish there were some systems implemented to make it a little bit more easier or less frustrating. I really hope that Honkai Star Rail has something like that. I'm not too sure if it will. A lot of the things are very similar, from talent systems to equipment and weapons and all. Gotta level them up. The thing about Honkai Star Rail is that you'll have a skill tree, so you can kind of like choose your path for your characters, like the talent. Eventually you'll max out everything apparently, so I'm not too sure if it really makes that much of a difference, but it's nice to have some control over like what path you go in a skill tree, because I do love skill trees in game. I am someone that really does like skill trees in games, so I'm really glad that there is a skill tree in Honkai Star Rail. They used to put a lot of skill trees in older games and all, but I feel like nowadays people kind of like stay away from skill trees. You know, the funny thing about Honkai Star Rail is that I'm really excited for it, but like if you think about it logically, there really isn't that much to be excited about if you don't like Genshin as much. So let me explain. So for anyone that has played Genshin before, I'm sure you girls have heard of like the usual complaints that Genshin has. I'm sure you've heard of things such as Genshin Impact late game is not that great, the grind is abysmal, it's repetitive, things like that. I'm sure you've heard of. And Honkai Star Rail will be very similar, right? So I've definitely slowed down on my Genshin Impact because of those various reasons, amongst a few others. And if Honkai Star Rail is similar, then like, why am I so excited for it? And I really don't know. For Genshin Impact, I've kind of taken the approach of, I'll just play the game casually and just experience the story for what it is and treat it like as if it's an anime, because obviously the stories and cutscenes can be quite long, and obviously the gameplay, like I don't really like grinding in Genshin as much as like grinding in other games, so it's like, well, I may as well just enjoy the story, right? So with all that being said, if Genshin Impact is so similar to Honkai, or should I say Honkai is so similar to Genshin Impact, then would Honkai Star Rail suffer the same fate as Genshin Impact? As in, the late game will be quite tedious and repetitive and possibly be unfun. Because I think a lot of us are quite excited for Honkai Star Rail because it's very new. And you know, when Genshin Impact first came out, I'm pretty sure everyone was very excited, right? Everyone was like, whoa, this new game is so clean, it's so polished, like, love that. And we loved exploring to that, or Mondstadt really. and everything was fun. But obviously, the more time you spend on Genshin Impact, you start to see the cracks and the flaws and the repetitive nature of it all, and you kind of lose interest. So that's really my main concern with Honkai Star Rail is, will it get boring in the long term? Or is it something that you should only kind of enjoy in small dosages? Is it something that you should more focus on the story rather than the actual grind and gameplay? I don't know. I really hope there are systems in place that make the long term enjoyable, but knowing Genshin Impact and Mahoyaverse, I'm not too sure if it will. I want to know from you girls, what do you think? Anyone here that's also quite excited for Honkai Star Rail, and do you feel like it's more fun and exciting because it's new, so there's like some sort of, I guess, novelty to it all? Or do you really think that maybe it'll all go away after like a few months, you get over it, you get bored of it, and it goes being like Genshin again and tedious and you just don't want to play it anymore? Let me know what you guys think. So for the story of Honkai Star Rail, apparently it's gonna be more in-depth and more, I guess, darker. There's nothing wrong with Genshin Impact's story being very light and palatable, but I do want to have like some like fun twists and like, you know, like cool things. Like it would be so cool if like, you know, you like, I don't know, solve a mystery of like a murder mystery, a whole town is dead, you know, that type of stuff. But obviously because Genshin Impact is pretty light on the story and like they want casual to be able to like take in the story and be very palatable, like they never really go into depth of like heavy topics or whatever, right? It's all just like very cutesy, fun type of story, which is nothing wrong again, but I do wish that maybe another game like Honkai Star could like touch upon more serious topics or just like cooler things in general. I have been told that Honkai Impact, which is not Honkai Star Rail, but the game before that, is quite better in terms of its story, quite more heavier in its topics or whatever, so I'm excited to see what Honkai Star Rail puts out. I know that the music in Honkai Impact is really good, and there's like singing as well involved, so like I am really excited to hear the music that Honkai Star Rail will be putting out. At first I was a little bummed out that the turn-based system is going to be quite simple and very similar to things like Raid Shadow Legend, but the more I thought about it, I was like thinking, you know what, maybe it's nice to have like a chill turn-based game. Like not everything needs to require like a big brain moment, right? And it might come to its advantage because if Honkai Star Rail is going to be quite grindy with its like artifact farming and material stuff and whatever, then having an auto battle feature is going to be quite quite handy. So for those that don't know, Honkai Star Rail will have like a auto battle feature, and it will have like a ×2 speed, I believe, that you can just like speed up the fight. So I really enjoy that because farming for the same things in Genshin Impact can be a little tedious. So anything that helps the process would be greatly appreciated. So Honkai Star Rail having an auto battle feature could just like farm the materials you want. I do hope that you don't have to queue up the same thing over and over again. So like I know for some games you can just kind of like repeat the same dungeon or same run over and over again. Like the system will not only auto battle but like queue you up again for the same thing. So you could just like go AFK for 30 minutes and then come back to like 10 successful runs or whatever. So I hope Honkai Star Rail has that and it doesn't make you just like re-queue the same thing manually, because then you would have to kind of like keep tabs of the game. Like if you're watching an anime on the side or AFK, like you would have to come back every few minutes just to like check up on the thing and like queue up again. So I hope that's not a thing. I would love to know if there are anyone in here in the comment section that is very well versed in like gacha games and like turn-based gacha games. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Like, what are things that you think Honkai Star Rail would succeed in very well? And what do you think they lack in compared to other games in the similar genre? Because although I have played some gacha games in the past, I would say that my experience with them is quite little. I would say Genshin Impact and another game called Cosmic Break, which is a very old game, are my most played games that are gacha style. but obviously Genshin Impact is not turn-based, so things might be a little different. I'm not too sure. So I would love to know if anyone has a lot of experience, and I would love to know like what you think of Honkai Star Rail. From like an outsider's perspective, like for me, like maybe more casual take on my outlook on Honkai Star Rail, I am thinking that Honkai Star Rail seems the most well-rounded in everything. It's not open world game, but there is like your character movement that you can move around the world. The story I would assume is gonna be great or more enjoyable than other type of games. Combat seems to be really good. I feel like Honkai Star Rail is gonna be something that's like it's just good in a lot of things, which will make it stand out from the rest of its like gacha title games out there on the market, right? So maybe that's just my opinion, I'm not too sure, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Also, if anyone does know of like more information on Honkai Star Rail, like maybe I'm missing something about like there might be something exciting that I'm not too sure about, like let me know as well. I have purposely tried to not look into too much Honkai Star Rail because I don't want to be spoiled. But like I said, I did say that I watched a few content creators on Honkai Star Rail and what they thought of the game, and I was excited for what I saw, but yeah, there were a few things that I were a little worried about, like the late game and all. I'm just gonna quickly finish off my eyes and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm finally done with my eyes, and obviously I kind of went a bit overboard with the eyeliner. I have a problem with eyeliner because I have hooded eyes, and so on the outer parts, the eyelid folds kind of cover up the eyeliner, and that's why you have like this distorted like moment over here. So I know it's something that people did to combat that with the same eye shape is like some sort of like bat wing where it kind of like almost like a hook, like it goes out and then comes back in with the hook, so that's what I try to do. But I think because I put my eyeliner kind of far out and pretty thick, it kind of just looks, well, I don't think it looks like bad or anything, like I still think it looks fine, but the hook is not thin, it's like pretty thick, so I mean it looks fine I guess. It's a little heavy, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna go into some blush now, and I'm using the Koki Professional Blush, the soft gradient blush in the shade Cheeky. It's very pretty, it's like a gradient, starts off pink and then into this like, I have no idea what this color is, but you can see. I got this blush from my friend Frederick Chen on YouTube, so go check him out. I like to just put my blush higher up and pretty widespread when I get to the cheek parts, but I try not to go too overboard into here, like not past these areas, like I guess like the middle of the eye, because that can kind of like give you an aged look, so try not to go too far out. I'm just gonna go with some contour. I'm not really too sure what else there is to say about Honkai Star Rail other than I'm just really excited and I hope that the game is really good. I only like to contour the top of my head. I do have a longer face, so I just like to shorten the face this way, and I kind of keep it more horizontal. I don't really bring it to the sides. I don't really bring it to the sides because if I do, then it will make it look thinner, and thinner makes my face look longer, which I do not want. I'm just gonna take some bronzer now and just lightly go over the head. I don't really want to go too much, otherwise it becomes a bit too orange for my taste. I'm just gonna do my brows now, and I'm gonna use some eyeshadow for my brows. So this is gonna be very off topic, but like, I feel like it needs to be said. Like, you can just use powder and eyeshadow or whatever for different parts of the face. Like, just because something says it's blush doesn't mean you have to use it for blush. Just because something says it's for highlighter doesn't mean you can't use it for anywhere else, like your eyes, right? Like, just because something is eyeshadow doesn't mean you can't use it for other things like your brows. I don't know about some of you guys, but I watch a lot of makeup TikToks, and on makeup TikTok, there are a lot of people making things trends, like this new blush, new Dior blush, or new lipsticks or new Charlotte Tilbury highlighter sticks or blush sticks or whatever. Like there's always like new trends that come in and everyone just hypes up all these products. But like, you know, I have these products that I own that have lasted me for ages. Like, for example, this blush that I have called the Nude by Nature. I don't know if it's an Australian brand. I think it might be. But this blush that I've had like since when I first started doing makeup, and that was like 5 years ago, right? Like it doesn't run out really. Like you can keep these products. You don't have to keep buying new products. Like for example, the Dior blush, the pink blush that everyone is raving about. Like it's cute and all, but chances are you probably might own like an eyeshadow that is a similar shade or exactly the same shade. Like you could just use that for your blush. Like you really don't have to have like all these products, right? Like I can do my brows with eyeshadow. Like sure it smudges around, but like, you know, just don't smudge it lol or use setting spray or something like it and it looks fine, right? It looks totally fine. So yeah. I just wanted to say that because I am a bit of a resourceful queen and yeah, I really don't think there's anything wrong with using different products for different parts of the face. Of course, you might not get like the same application, like for some brow pencils, like they can be quite sharp and some people might want the really sharp end. I'm not too fussed about it and like it's nothing you can't like just fix with like, you know, like concealer or whatever, right? I'm gonna end the look with some lipstick and I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink in 2 different shades. I think I'm gonna mix them a little bit. The first one I'm gonna use is shade 10 Lippy and the next one is shade 15 Peachy. So I'm just gonna go in with a darker one and go all over my lips. I don't even know what color this is giving. It's kind of like a very cool tone red, which I really like because obviously reds are generally more on the warmer side and I don't need any more of that. I kind of like more cool tone type of stuff. A lot of people like this formula, it's pretty good wear. It does kind of stain the lips quite well, so even if you kind of like let it dry and wipe it off, it gives you a nice little finish, so that's cool as well. Of course you don't have to wipe it off, you can just leave it as it is like I am right now. It's not like sticky, but you definitely can kind of like feel something for a while until it dries down. Now this shade is a little bit more on the warm side because it's a peach shade, but I'm just gonna go very, very little just so I can give some more dimension to the lips. I'm just gonna go very slowly, building up the color. I'm not too sure if this look really needs a gloss. I mean, we may as well. So I'm just gonna go in with the ColourPop So Juicy lip gloss. It's a little bit of a plumping lip gloss, I think. I don't know what ingredients it has. Maybe it's menthol, but there is like some sort of minty type of feel, which honestly I don't really like too much, but I didn't realize it was one, so here we are. I'm just gonna use my finger so the lip gloss doesn't get contaminated. It's a little on the thicker side, this lip gloss, so you know, you definitely feel that. It's not like super sticky or anything, but it's definitely not lightweight. This is a little thing I do for my lipstick so I don't get like transfer onto my teeth. I just get a tissue and just bite onto it. Well, not like bite on it with your teeth, just like kind of like put your lips over it. And this way, if you're ever like drinking something or whatever, there won't be transfer. Here is my final look. What do you guys think? You know, I really like this look. It's very natural and, you know, something you can just go to the supermarket for, like your everyday look, right? It's very, very natural. Anyway, this is the Get Ready With Me makeup video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of everything that we spoke about. So with Honkai Star Rail, like, are you guys excited for it as well? Do you feel like the late game might also be a bit repetitive? Do you feel like the late game might end up being like Genshin and, you know, it's fun at the start, but as you play more, it might get a little bit boring? Let me know what you guys think. And also, I might be missing out on some information because I haven't looked into Honkai Star Rail that much. Again, I've been purposely trying to avoid things, so, you know, not to spoil myself with too much. So maybe I'm missing something and there might be systems in place in the game that do make the late game really fun and enjoyable. So if I am missing anything, let me know in the comment section. Also, I would love to know what you guys think about this style. Like, I know this style is very like mumbo jumbo, like I'm doing a makeup video whilst also talking about a game, so it's like what is this? Like who is this beauty guru moment? This is kind of giving like M-Tash beauty guru moment, like who is she? Like talking about a game and doing makeup, like what? So if you know who he is. The Genshin girls I'm sure will know. But anyways, again, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are. Bye bye!